Listen, technology is not my forte. Back in the day, things were much different when there was a Blackberry. If you know, you know. No volume. Oh, thank goodness. Hey, Lynn, thank you. Listen, you guys, I do not know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what happened. I hit all the things. I have to ask Cindy, but until then, until I can get Cindy, and it's 10:15, I'm not waking her up. If you know, you know. She is sleeping. I was up this morning bright and early at 5 o'clock with Dr. Kiltz doing the class and doing Old Guy Carnivore and catching up on everything. Cindy and I did not do a test run. That was probably what the problem is. Cindy's very good at her craft. You guys know it, and I know it because she's been doing this for a long time. So, without further ado, now that I'm live here, it's just, I'm telling you, Lynn, it's a thing. It really is. If you guys want to get in on the color, start guessing your color. Hi, Amy. I'm glad that you guys all can hear me. Start guessing the colors. And I have it on the side because I am working up a sweat. I'll tell you what. Our weather here was in the low 80s, mid 80s, so it's pretty warm. But being a former realtor and knowing about home inspections and the like, I am the type of person that we had the heat on last week because it was too cold, and the air conditioner should not be on with the heat. Some people say I'm way whacked out in my thought process, but who can afford a $6,000, 8,000, 10,000, whatever dollar furnace these days? So it is what it is. Okay, I gotta get on the rant now because time has lapsed. So if you want to start guessing, I don't know how to find you guys on the YouTube so that I can follow along with the chat. Now listen, it's been a day. It has been a day. Oh, okay. Gemmet is on now, but I think she's on the old. I I can't read the chat. Now on my cell phone, the chat isn't appearing. So there we go. Okay, good. Excellent. I gotta tell you guys about this. So I'm not sure if you guys take this. If you like this, good for you. I'm just giving you my opinion. I bought this Prime Protein strawberry thinking, oh, happy memories. It will bring back the Neapolitan strawberry days of old. And I doubled up on the protein. So I had, right now, a scoop is 26 grams. So I measured 50 grams because I wanted extra protein. I am trying to do more things to up my protein to go from 150, and I want to go up to 200 grams of protein right now just because of some muscle things that I'm dealing with right now. This is hideous. This, you think that, I know Maria Emmerich loves this stuff, and it probably is very good in recipes, but drinking this, it, let me tell you, let's read the ingredients, shall we? Shouldn't I have read the ingredients before buying this? That's like when I used to purchase things and I didn't read Made in the USA, and then I'd get it here in the house and it was crap plastic. Okay, ingredients here. Grass-fed beef protein, good deal. Coconut milk powder, okay, fine. Sea salt, fine. Natural flavors. Acacia fiber, that is in keto chow as well. Beet juice, of course, that's for color. Stevia leaf extract. Listen, this didn't taste sweet. I know sweet. I will have the occasional Zevia soda. This didn't taste sweet. It didn't taste strawberry. It just didn't have any flavor to it. So, did I get the protein? Probably. But am I ever going to buy this again thinking that it's going to be just strawberry and wonderful? I don't think so. I've had the chocolate before and that was okay, but I'm not a geek. It's not cheap either, definitely not. My color guess is, I don't know how to pronounce that, but no, that's not the right color. Keep guessing, folks. You know, my chat pops up on my cell phone, but then it goes away. I don't know how to explain it. So what I will do is, in about 10 minutes, I'll tell you guys what the color is at 10:30, and then if you guys guessed it, you tell me. Oh, my Lanta. Okay, so that was the strawberry protein. Secondly, did you participate in the flag at half-staff for Charlie Kirk? Oh, Karen guessed the color is navy blue. That's Karen's. Okay, I'm going to keep watching. I'm going to keep watching on my screen for things to pop up. The reason I ask is because I made mention of that to somebody, and it was like you knew exactly where they stood. And for the last 23 years, this was the 24th year, we've all known to put the flags at half-staff for 9/11. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, I don't have a flag. So I did not, but I would have right. So unfortunately, Charlie Kirk died on the 10th. That's when the president said up until Sunday at 6:30 that all flags were supposed to be at half-staff. Well, this person said, no. The president said that it has to be businesses and government entities and municipalities, but not private businesses like the company that I work for. So I know. Now I know. If you know, you know. And you just can't trust certain people, right? Yeah. Or when you think you can trust certain people, there they are with that blade to stab you. I'll tell you, I was very impressed with Charlie Kirk's wife. Now, I've been following Charlie Kirk, so it's nothing that's new, any of the things that he's been saying. I've been listening to his podcast and watching him on all the platforms for years. And Charlie Kirk is younger than my kid. My kid was born in 89. I'm a one-and-done person. Now, as mothers of sons, those of you that have sons out there, we can only wish that our sons were as well-versed as Charlie Kirk was. The kid was 31 years old. He was the only child of his parents, so I can just imagine his mother and father and the grief that they're encountering. And Erica, listen, for those of you that have daughters, I have stepdaughters, but we can only hope that our daughters turn out to be as well-versed and well-grounded like Erica was, to give that speech that she did about her husband just tore me up. I was listening to it at work on the, hey, I can take these out now because nobody's listening on my laptop. I was listening at work and my eyes were just welling up with tears, knowing the grief that she felt, yet she held herself as best as she could, and she just choked up a couple times. To have a marriage like the Kirks, and they were, what, she had to have been in her late 20s if he was 31. To have a marriage like that at such a young age, I don't think anybody knew that he got married when he got married. Not that it was a big deal, and nobody has to advertise when they're getting married, but I was surprised that he was married too. I thought he was a single guy when I found out that he got married years ago. So I was very, very impressed. I was listening. Again, I listen to a lot of stuff at work. So when you guys have lives, or like Cindy has lives, for example, I'll listen in to the lives, into the broadcasts that you guys do. However, I'm not able to chime in because, well, I'm listening and I'm working with my hands and I don't have a cell phone or a camera available to scroll and read the chat that you're talking about. So I appreciate when Cindy reads back the questions from the chat. Now, I want to be able to engage with you all. So for me to go off on my little rants like I did, this next few minutes, I got 5 more minutes before I announce the color. I just had a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. The Kirk's marriage. Strawberry. Something else I wanted. Oh, that's what I was saying. I listened to the 5. First, the president was talking. He had a meeting in the Oval Office, and that was going on. I really wasn't paying attention to much of that until the 5 started at about 20 minutes to the top of the hour. And Greg Gutfeld ripped Jessica a new one. I think Greg Gutfeld is so good on that show, and I believe he's got the #1 show. If you've ever seen him, I should probably ask, have you ever seen him? He's got a good show. He's not afraid to mince any words, and he can let them cuss words fly. So I don't know what kind of deal they got with the FCC or fines or whatever, but Greg, come on. Calm your tongue. Seriously. He ripped Jessica a new one, and I felt that they probably, this is just my feeling, I felt that they were probably, because Jessica can get on her little tangent for the left. And you've never seen him. He's on Fox News, or the 5 Fox, and then he has a show at 9 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock Eastern time, a comedy show with a panel of people, four people and himself, and he's got the #1 comedic talk show out there compared to the mainstream, shall we say. I did not watch the Emmys yesterday, but I understood that the guy that's leaving talk show late night on CBS, he won the Emmy, and they were applauding. Oh, isn't that wonderful? And I didn't watch the Emmys. This is just what I heard from the podcast that I listened to. So yeah, he's a puke. But Jessica, I think they personally probably told her, you better lay off the show last week, not knowing if she was going to go off on her tangents. Now, Harold Ford Jr., he was a congressman, I believe, for Tennessee, I think. And he's a little more rational. Thanks, Xana. I believe it. I have zero interest. I used to back in the day when they would talk about the fashions and the runways, and they'd have the pre-Emmys or the shows Gutfeld. Yes, Gutfeld sure did. And that's good. But did you notice also, Xana and everybody else, did you also notice that they probably talked to Jessica on the microphone saying, you better make a statement because your job is on the line. Jessica. She's got the name Jessica. I hope you guys don't have children named Jessica, because that's how, how I want to call her if I ever met her in person. But Harold Ford Jr., very reasonable man, even though he's a Democrat, he's more reasonable when it comes to reasonable things. So when somebody like Charlie Kirk comes onto the scene, and if a lot of people have never listened to him previously to this tragedy, this assassination that happened, they don't realize that he wasn't a poster, he wasn't a Greg Gutfeld. He wanted to talk to kids and meet kids on the kids' level. Say, listen, tell me about your school of thought. And then he would come back and give his opinion. It would not be combative, but he would make people think. Ah, okay. So I would only wish my son would have had that same mentality. Now, when my son, I just thought of something Xana wrote here. 2 years ago, we couldn't be able to chat about these things on YouTube. Ain't that the truth? Or we'd have to be so fearful that if we said the wrong thing, if we talked about this letter of the alphabet, for example, and this, that we would get banned or striked or they would take down our channel or what have you. Now it's a free-for-all. Now you can cuss and say whatever you want to say. I was mentioning to Cindy that I really despise the big F word. I can probably tell you, yeah, true. That's so true, Xana. I could probably tell you on one hand the times that I've used the big F word, and it was probably in a more of a fit of rage. And it's not one that you want to even use in a moment of passion. I don't like that word. I'm not an animal. I am a human being, and I love with all that I have, but I'm not an animal, and I don't want to be addressed like an animal, if you know what I mean. Hi, Josephine. Hi, how are you? Hello to all the new people that came on. Okay, it's 10:31, and this is the color. It's blue. So I think you win, Karen. This started out with me getting on the YouTube at 10 o'clock at night to say, Jerry's got to get something off her chest and then go off on some kind of a rant and take off my bra and do something extreme. But that was planned for last week to do the colors. See, Karen, you win. Blue is blue. Blue for you. Does that light bother you guys? Sorry. I can move my camera. I can move my cell phone. I'm in my kitchen. I don't know how. It's kind of dark. Oh. This is another thing I wanted to talk about. If you guys wanted to talk about anything, put some comment down. Let me know what you're thinking about. I have, for those of you that know, I take the Kelly Hogan class every Monday. Been taking it now this is my second year. And I mentioned today in one of the chat rooms something that I thought about last week when I was in church. Now, my church is non-denominational. Well, you did today, Karen, so good for you. And I know how to find you too, so that's even better. Yay. We'll talk, Karen. We'll talk. I mentioned last week to the pastor, he had asked, hey, I haven't seen you in a couple weeks, and I explained that I've been visiting my sister in Madison just north of Madison, and I've been going to her church. That I was a former Catholic, and she's still Catholic. Just little small talk with him and his wife at the church. I haven't yet joined the church, formally joined the church, but um, he used to be a Catholic himself, so he started this church as a non-denominational, Bible believing. If it's not in the Bible, he won't preach it nor teach it nor extol the virtue. So last month it was on fasting. So I fasted from doing YouTube on Monday, and I fasted from food on Monday because we were doing that in accordance with our church. And this month, yesterday, it started with a new series, Why Church? Church, Why Church? And you'd have to go and see the video that I put down on Sunday to be able to see. It's a 3-minute video that our church put about a father and a son relationship, and it makes you think, like, who's the bad guy in this story? Is the son the one that went back to the church? That's how I took it. So for those of you that saw that or didn't see the video, go back and see it. It's a 3-minute video, probably 5 minutes into my video on Sunday. It's pretty good. And I like church. I like fellowship. I like to be with people that are of like-mindedness. And maybe that's why I wanted to do this Jerry After Dark, because I don't have a lot of quote unquote friends up here. All of my friends were where I lived and grew up in southeastern Wisconsin, in Milwaukee. That's my son lives in Illinois. The daughters live in Kenosha. We have strained relationships with our children. That's not anything different than what was on the video. The son is trying to get the father to come back to church. The father has distanced himself from the church. So our pastor, Pastor Paul, is showing, and this is the first week, by the way, he's showing in the Bible some of the passages, because as a former Catholic, we never opened the Bible as a Catholic. We just listened to all the rote prayers, knelt, genuflected, etc. I'm not dissing any Catholics out there, because I used to be a faithful goer to Mass every day. I used to go to Mass. As a child, we had to pray the Rosary every day, Friday, novenas in Latin. So I'm well versed in the Catholic faith. My sister was surprised that when they started singing, and of course it's organ music, very slow. And right now we got a rockin' band, and we praise the Lord and do. We're not a shouting church, okay? But sometimes if I'm in the pew and he's saying something that really reaches my heart, I want to say amen, but I don't. It's not a shouting church. But I have been known to applaud, and members of the congregation too, if he's on a real good tangent. Yesterday, the first service, it was 2 services. The first service I went to was the normal church service. Josephine says, this year I've been thinking of learning about God and churches. I think it's a sign of the times, Josephine, because the first service that I went to, jam-packed, just jammed. The second service I went to, it was baptism. It was 20 people. Most were young-ish high schoolers. I do have my own beliefs, of course. I did too. I do too. We all have our own beliefs, but I try to not wanting to beat people over the head. When I first became a Christian, leaving the Roman Catholic Church, I wanted to beat people over the head with my faith. And I had to rein that in. I do. I love going to church. I absolutely love it. And I really loved going to night church yesterday. It started at 5:30. And the baptisms were there, and they had 4 different praise and worship teams with acoustics. It was acoustical service. That's really what it was. So they had the baptisms intertwined with the songs and the singing, all modern day Christian music. But I love church and I love singing. So when I was singing in my sister's church, she goes, "I didn't know that you sang." Well, my sister and I have a 9-year gap between the two of us, and I was involved as a Catholic in the choir. As a parishioner in high school, I was in the choir, so I didn't forget how to sing at all. I have since stopped smoking now. I think it's been, shoot, how many years has it been? 10 years, 12 years that I've stopped smoking. So I think my voice is better, but the songs are still the same in the Catholic Church. Now, the Apostles' Creed was different, and they don't do the sign of peace anymore. For those of you Catholics out there, chime in. When did they get rid of the sign of peace? Was it during the Big C? Try this way, the Big C? Is that when they stopped giving peace to people? I want to say yes, because they probably didn't want to spread germs. So I looked around like, okay, sign of peace, where is it? They don't do it anymore. But their sermons are so dry. The priest didn't give real life examples. They talk about Bible passages that were part of the gospel, and he'll delve on that, but it wasn't a real life example. Like our pastor started out yesterday, obviously talking about the big story in the world, truly, was Charlie Kirk and his interpretation, of course, praying for Erica Kirk and the children, and that it was an untimely thing. And we just got to stand up. We, as believers in right and wrong, have to stand up and say enough is enough. We're not going to be browbeaten by the mainstream media to say that what the media wants us to believe is how we should believe. I have so much on my mind to say, and I don't know how to put it in words. At work, you can say what you want to about your job. You can't go and talk about anything else because, well, then you're pegged right from the get-go. So if they know that you're a Christian, for example, and they're not a Christian, they will do everything in their power to make it very difficult for you in the business world. Hey, we have this thing at our job. Now, I work in a factory. I make an excellent salary. I don't have to, as a realtor, get in my car and drive all over Timbuktu and show a lot of houses and put a lot of gas in my car until I make a sale and go to a closing in 2 months. If I get to a closing, I get a normal paycheck, so I don't want to ruffle the feathers too much. I'm nearing retirement. Retirement's next year. I just pray to God that I can make it to retirement, but I want to be the salt and light that Jesus, my religion, my Lord and Savior, wants me to be. I sometimes want to be a Peter, and I want to get up there and start doing the Peter thing. If you know, you know. But I have to calm down and say, how can I be more like Christ? Or if you can equate it with Charlie Kirk, how can I be more like him and be kind to people and have a kind debate with people as opposed to being browbeaten by somebody? You must do this or whatever. Turn or burn, go right or be left. If you know, you know. And it's hard. It's hard, but it has to be done. We can't be run over by the mainstream and by people with furry suits on that tell me that that's the way it's supposed to be. The first time I saw a furry suited person up north here, it blew my mind. And it wasn't Halloween. It was late summer, so it was kind of still warm. So I saw these girls sitting at Quick Trip in these furry suits, and they had to have been teenagers. And yeah, up in the country, their parents have kitty litter boxes in their houses, and that's okay. Well, it's okay. You know, Rebecca has to find herself. We're going to let Steve dye his hair purple and not say anything because Steve's finding himself right now. And back in our day, let's talk about Ozzie and Harriet for those of you that are old enough like me that know who that is. Can you imagine Ozzie and Harriet putting up with a furry suit? No. Whack. We'd be whacked. Josephine wrote here. No, I think I'm getting a storm here yesterday. Ooh, and today the internet. I'm sorry, Josephine, I couldn't read it. It went away too fast. I'm drinking Element tea again, chocolate. And because I've been talking, it's getting cold. Colder. That whole StreamYard thing just threw me for a loop. It just discombobulated me. Ozzie and Harriet would stroke out. You know they would. And things were, I don't know if I said this in a live before or I did it in one of my other videos, that things used to be a shame back in the day. Nobody could say anything. Oh, go off. Oh, little Becky's pregnant. We're going to send her off with Aunt Lucille to live in Tennessee for a while. 9 months. And then she'll come back and everything will be sunshine and roses and nobody will know anything. Now everybody knows everybody's business. Nothing's a secret. And if it's something that's shameful, they don't want it. Don't say nothing. Keep it under the rug. Keep it between you, me, and the fence post. Nobody's got the balls now to be moral in today's society. And I even had to check myself too, because now I think I'm a very moral person. I really do. But I couldn't not go to church anymore. It got to the point that we've lived up here for, this will be 17 years, I think. And it was just bothering me that I couldn't find the right church. There's Lutheran churches and there's a lot of organ music and a lot of people that talk about at my job that they go to church, but they're not church-minded people because in the break room they'll stab you in a heartbeat and they'll narc you out at the supervisor's office because it took 3 minutes too long of a break. Or they see you shopping at Costco and they look inside your cart during the weekend and then they go back to work and say, you know, I saw Jerry buy strawberries and I thought she was a carnivore. What's she eating strawberries for? If you know what I mean? Yeah. LMNT chocolate is not very good cold. What? Ugh. I'm not complaining, but I like it better hot. So I want to be able to, yeah, that's funny. I want to be able to do talking the next one tomorrow. I hope I get this StreamYard audio okay. Excuse me. I got this down the wrong pipe. Boy, this live just gets better and better, doesn't it? Well, the good thing is, Karen, you won. That's the positive thing out of this live. So, as I was saying, I want to be able to start out saying, okay, what should we talk about today, guys? And you guys lead the conversation at night. Yeah, thank you, Josephine. I appreciate it. As we get closer into the winter months around here, back to school with kids and the people at work and their little germy selves. I talked about this Sovereign Silver that I take it before I go into work, probably the equivalent of 2 tablespoons. I'll keep it under my tongue as the directions say. Now, this is not a health channel, but this, if I feel like I'm getting a sore throat, a scratchy throat, some stuffy nose, whatever the case may be, or in the case of last week, there were 3 people out and out hacking, so sick. Thanks, Karen. Oh, this life, it's just choking me up. So there were 3 people at work just hacking, coughing up lungs. It was awful. And then my supervisor, he was walking around and he's signing our paperwork. And he's signing and touching with his little disgusting germy self. I took this 3 times, so I wouldn't get it. So what did I get? It manifested itself as opposed to me being sick with the lungs or the coughing or what have you, a sickness. I got a cold sore, which is fine. I'd rather have it manifest itself in a cold sore than having it go into my chest or my head or what have you. So to me, Sovereign Silver, this is what I get on Amazon. I love this, and I took this a couple days last week, 3 times a day, just to keep the cooties at bay. Also, the immunity pills from Costco, I picked up a bunch of those, a 90-day supply of that. I'm not a big advocate of pills, lotions, and potions, but if I can boost my immunity and wash my hands constantly. I'm washing the hands at work, but I can't help. Yeah, exactly. If you look it up, Lynn, on the internet, the internet, the Google machine, Alexa, they dissuade people from using this. I've been doing this for years. And to me, I believe it helps me. It keeps it at bay. Also, my way of eating really helps because I'm not eating the carbs. And it's funny because, I don't know, there was some channel I was watching. They were talking about that they got sick from going into a hospital. And that's the place that the most cooties are because people are sick. They're coming in to see the doctor. They're touching the elevator buttons. You touch the buttons, you rub your nose, bam, you got the virus or whatever virus. So I feel very Felix Ungary when I go to the Mayo Clinic because I don't want to come back with whatever shenanigans from the Mayo Clinic, like the influencer had. So I'm going to start out tomorrow turning the topic over to you all and come up with something we can talk about. A little tea time, a little our evening cocktail time. We have got 6 more minutes right now. I like to just do this for an hour and just talk to friends. We don't get to talk. I don't get to talk to you all during a lot of the day because I work second shift, but I can hear. That is so true. Karen just said that she doesn't even go into Walgreens, that she's that much of a germaphobe like me. Now, I noticed too for me that, Josephine, I saved a birdie today. I had to use the hand wash out. Oh, shoot, I hate this. This cell phone takes the messages and it makes it disappear too fast. And I am calling Cindy tomorrow before I go into work and asking her what I can do with this StreamYard because this is just gross. Okay, hospitals. I used to get bronchitis. Yep. Retired 4 years ago. Yep. Totally true. I used to work in a hospital years ago in Milwaukee as well. And it was when AIDS first came out. And we had to gown up. We're talking from head to toe. Were you working in the hospital at that time, Lynn? When AIDS first came out, that was the big C back in the day, the late 80s. And you guys don't know about that side of that part of my story yet. I've yet to tell you that story. I've yet to tell you my Jeffrey Dahmer story. That's coming. It's coming. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to do it by the end of September and talk about it. I'm going to announce that in plenty of time, but of course I'm going to make sure the StreamYard and the volume is up. Got to do that. So I am sorry for the inconvenience that I caused by not having the StreamYard up and running today, folks, right from the jump. I'm going to contact Cindy, get that remedied, get that rectified by tomorrow, and everything should be fine. Yes, I definitely am. And some things I want to be able to say, and then some things I go, ooh, you know what? Don't say that right now. But yeah, I'm full of secrets. I have a lot to say. I'm cautious, shall we say. Trust me, I won't be saying the big F word, but we'll all find out about each other sooner or later. The Kelly Hogan class I talked about earlier, and I'll close out with this. At the Kelly Hogan class, I had asked in the chat that we have Aaliyah. She was on Dr. Kiltz's program last week. I think she's the 16-year-old carnivore girl. And the youngest one, at least that I know of, unless one of your children do it. But I was saying that shouldn't there be a carnivore kind of Charlie Kirk person out there to lead the young carnivores? And I think people were probably taken aback that I said that because I know that Kelly Hogan is a Christian. I realize it, but I actually put it in print. Pardon me. I put it in print and then it went away. And I don't know if somebody deleted it or if Kelly was thinking, well, it's not exactly the platform for me to talk about Charlie Kirk. At the end of her show, her hour, she'll usually end in prayer. And it's if somebody has something on their mind that they want her to pray about, she'll say, for example, I want to be able to pray for Mary Lou's ailment. I hope that her left hip gets better or what have you. She'll say very generic prayers like that. But sometimes I want to pray with so much authority that I might be scaring people away. I have that tendency to do that, and I have to rein it back in again. Just rein it back in. This is still new to me, guys. This whole doing lives. I don't know. I keep it open to all people of the audience. I know, Karen's here and Lynn's there and Xana and my Amy, all my typical friends are here, but I open it up to the public also. And I'm careful not to be, I would not say cuss words. Now I know Kurt isn't on here, and sometimes Kurt would leave messages that YouTube would block for whatever reason, and somebody was saying that that happens because Kurt has a colorful vocabulary. We'll leave it at that. So then I'd have to hit on my phone to be able to see the message, and why I can't do that, I don't know. And it just seems like I'm rambling today. Today was not a good day. This whole StreamYard volume thing just set me off on the wrong course today. So my apologies. So Karen, I will be contacting you because I have your number. And if you can, please, Karen, do me a favor. In how we normally correspond, give me your email address the normal way that you always correspond with me. And we will be talking probably tomorrow, Karen, on texting. We'll talk on text. So I am going to close for right now. Thank you very much for those of you that stuck with me. I appreciate it. I still have 5 people there. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I'm going to turn it over to you guys tomorrow and have you give me a topic. Josephine said, did she hurt her back 2 years ago? Oh, okay. Well, sometimes pain will do that. I had back surgery last year, and this year I had hip surgery, and I was not a happy camper. I really wasn't. I was in a lot of pain, different pain. The hip pain, I think, was worse than the back. At least the back, you're symmetrical in your back. It's there in your back. With the hip, not so much. And I don't know. I was 5 days in. For you guys that know, I was 5 days here at home, and I drove my husband nuts. And he's like, I'm not. He just said he's not taking care of me, and that was it. And that was the 5th day that I came home from the hospital, and it's been that way ever since. So yeah, it sucks to be me, wah wah, but this too shall pass. I am just praying for more strength every day. Every day. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night. I appreciate it. We will talk tomorrow. I will say prayers for all of you guys tonight. Thank you very much for your friendship. God bless everybody. Toodles.